Hi, my name is Jeff Orr, and today we're going to try to tie the idea of carbohydrates back to photosynthesis. So we'll start with the idea that we have to understand that a combination of atoms makes a molecule. So it doesn't matter what type of atom we have as a single element, like oxygen. If we tie that back to a hydrogen or just to an oxygen, the combination of two atoms would make that a molecule. That being said, we can kind of work through the biochemistry of photosynthesis. So to start with, we all understand photosynthesis is a process that plants go through in order to make their own food. You've heard since third grade, plants make their own food. So how does that work? Well, they start out with carbon dioxide, CO2, plus water. The carbon dioxide comes through the stomata on the leaves. The water comes from the roots of the plants out of the ground. H2O produces what the plants eat, which is glucose, or a simple sugar. Okay, that simple sugar is in chemical combination C6H12O6. So that would be the chemical combination that makes up glucose. And we all know that as a byproduct of plants making their own food, glucose, they give off oxygen, O2. So let's look at this. Here we have C6H12O6. And like an algebra equation, it needs to balance on both sides. So this is where our separation is. Here we have C6, but over here we only have one carbon. So in order to balance that, we would have to have 6 carbons on this side, which would mean we would also have 6 oxygens at that same point. H2O, we have 12 hydrogens. We only have 2 hydrogens here. Multiplication says 6 times 2 is 12. That's what will give us our 12 hydrogens. But at the same time, that's also going to give us 6 oxygens. Now I think that we can balance this out. Here we have 6 oxygens, and here we have 6 oxygens. Here we have our 6 carbons, and over here are 6 carbons. 12 hydrogens. We did the math already. So that's 12 hydrogens. And the leftover up here is going to be 6 O2s. Okay? And that's what's going to be given off over here. 6 O2s. We can balance it out on that side. And that is the byproduct of plants making their own food. Now let's take that to the next level and see if we can make that understandable as the word carbohydrate. So what are carbohydrates? When the coach goes and tells you to carb up, what's he talking about? What is it that he wants you to go and eat? Well, a lot of times we think of that as pasta, for example, as being large carbohydrates, breads. Okay? Where do we get pastas and breads? Well, most of those are plant products. Okay? Wheat, for the general purpose of that. What do plants have in them? Well, amazingly enough, this is what plants have in them, and see if we can find it here. Carbohydrate. Well, carbs, carbon, as in carbon dioxide. O for oxygen. Hydro, or hydrogen. H standing for 2. So, carbohydrates are C6H12O6. Carbohydrates are, there it is, sugars. So when the
wrong.